Okay, went and had a quick look and it's the lock washer that goes on first, and it's a tight fit, but it does go on first. Wiggle that little guy down. There we go. And then one of the chromed nuts goes on. What if I... Oops. Is there a... Okay, I guess it doesn't matter. Just wanted to see if there was any markings from the chrome nut on this, but there isn't, so. Go down. Have a tight fit. Now, that guy there was it a 17? Oh. 17. 19 millimeter. There we go. A lot easier with a bit of grease on the threads, that's for sure. All right, now let's see if we can. I think that's pretty well it. It looks like, yeah, it's compressed the lock washer, the split washer, nicely. There, the whole thing still moves nicely. So that's good, but it's not super loose, you know, it moves. And certainly when I go and apply the pressure with the rod, that'll move just enough that it needs to. Perfect. I'm very anxious to give this a try and see how well this works. Okay, so just to make sure, oops. Yep, that's enough. And now the pointer indicator, go on to that one, and we'll put this top nut on. There's no washer. There's no washer between them. It's just the nut just captures the pointer in between it and the nut below. There we go. There we go. And that is that. No need for the torque wrench. I think we're good. So now I'll leave it like this. I'm not going to attach the spring, not going to put the spring on it and bring it under tension until after I've connected the rod. Just makes it easier. One thing I did do here where the brake rod is going to go through is I did clean that up as much as I could, and I put some oil underneath it as well. This little nut here, it's not threaded, but it is like a little nut or a bush that the rod goes through. Is when I look at it on the side, it's not square. It's not the edge of this is not perpendicular to the axis that would go through the center. It's a little bit off, so it binds a bit one way. It doesn't bind the other way. So I just made sure there's some oil in there and it was lubricated, and now it's kind of spinning freely, so that should help. Every bit of lubrication should help the operation of the brake. Should make it a little bit easier. So just for now, I'm just going to put this washer, flat washer, and the other non-chromed nut in over here. And I'm just going to put that on. That's for the brake stay. Where it connects onto the swing arm. So that is that. And now she's ready to put the brake shoes on. So what I want to do is I'm just going to clean up my hands a bit after I put some grease on this, and before I touch the brakes. And I just want to be careful not to contaminate the surface of the brakes with any grease. So I'm going to take a little bit of my silicone brake grease here and just smear it on the surface of this cam. Get it on the flat surfaces of the cam. And get it ready to install the brake shoes. There we go. And then likewise on the pivot, this pivot bolt, put some on there as well. And smear this guy up. So I use this silicone-based brake grease. I use it on all my brakes. I do all the brakes on my four-wheeled vehicles as well. And I find it doesn't fall off, it doesn't melt away, and it doesn't fly all over the brake. I've taken brakes apart where I've used just regular everyday grease, the green like axle grease, stuff you might pack a bearing with. I've taken that off and that's just been gone. Or whatever's left has been just kind of hardened. It's no longer really acting as a grease. It's just been hardened, I guess, from heat. But this stuff seems to last and last and last. Put it on when you're doing disc brakes. Put it on the pins that your calipers slide on, and it just stays there. It works like a charm. All right. And there we go. So now next, I'm just going to wash up, and I'm going to install the brake shoes.